I was bullied for 6 years straight. I wanted it so bad deep inside. This is just the beginning. As I promised in the last video, I will tell you now where I am with my self-development journey. For that, I have to start at the very beginning. As a child, I grew up in a little village, northeast Hungary. This village was stunningly beautiful, surrounded by mountains in a valley, right next to it, a lake. Best childhood, as I could wish for. When I was 10 years old, my parents decided to move to the closest town 20 kilometers away. That way, we would stay close to our family and also to my friends, and everything will be fine. I was a little weird kid, only wore plastic trousers because once tried jeans and it was itchy. Also, I had a huge gap between my teeth, and I couldn't get along with my new classmates. I cannot formulate it anyhow nicer. I was bullied for 6 years straight. And just so you to know the level of the damage after 2 years, we were invited with my parents to a wedding, and I should have recited a poem right before the food was served. And I remember I stood in front of 100 people and I froze. I just couldn't say a word, even though I learned every single line word by word. I ran out and I felt so ashamed like never before in my life. And this went on for 4 more years. And at the end of primary school, I couldn't wait to get into high school. New classmates, new friends, everything will be perfect. I was just sitting home, playing computer games. I was a little nerd, started to gain some weight. I doubled on my weight in 4 years. Instead of 40, I was 80. And these classmates, nice and slowly, find you and start to pick on you. And it turned to worse and worse. And what happened when I was 16, middle of high school? My regular bully sat right behind me on the desk and started to ask questions. At the beginning, I tried to ignore him. Then he started to hit my head with his plastic bottle. And nice and slowly, I just lost control. I stood up and pushed him over with the desk together. And in that moment, I felt so strong and felt so good. I finally stood up for myself. But it got worse, obviously. Not even 1 week passed. And then, with two of my other classmates, after the PE lesson, they beat me. Even when you are an experienced fighter, you cannot fight three against one. And after that, the next class was English. And I just sat down, laid on the desk, and started crying. And I felt humiliated, felt so little and angry. By the time I was 16, I became 100 kilograms. And I decided this cannot go on. This has to stop. I started going to the gym, and it completely turned around my life. My classmates probably felt sorry for me, so the bullying just stopped. Okay, I got beaten, but it stopped. After 6 years, everything just stopped. I started to lose some weight. In a year, I from 100, I went down to 80 kilograms, and it felt amazing. There is no reset button. When you lose 6 years, one of the most important part of your life, when you have your first kiss, your first love, first everything, then you don't have that. And nice and slowly, you have to rebuild yourself from zero. No self-esteem, no nothing. And when you go through something like this, as a young adult, you start your life with a huge handicap. When I got into university, I got to meet with hundreds of people. I partied every single week several times. I got wasted every single time. After 2 years, I again realized this cannot go on anymore. I have to show it to myself I can do better. Then I decided I'm going to compete. After the competition, even my coach told me he didn't think I can do it. And look, I wanted it so bad deep inside. I went and I did it. So I showed it to myself that I can do it. And I lost motivation. And for 3.5 years, I didn't train at all. And also, two of my relationships went on these past traumas. I couldn't really express feelings. And the last relationship was exactly in that 3.5 year when I didn't train at all. And when we broke up, I knew that I have to put myself together, not just physically, but also mentally up here. I had to go back to the very beginning. I started to watch self development videos. And for example, this guy, David Goggins, is a beast. And I realized there are people out there who suffered way more than I did. And that's why this video also going to be my announcement. When you make peace in your mind, then you realize you are capable of doing anything. In 2 years, I'm going to have IFBB Pro card in men's physique category. And in 4 years, I'm going to stand on the Mr. Olympic stage. I get it from people, you are delusional, you have a midlife crisis. And no, no, guys, if this is a midlife crisis, then thank God I have a midlife crisis. I believe when you want something deep inside and you go after it, then you can do it. And maybe this will only be my personal diary, but if I can help for one person to get through this shit, it's already worth it. This is just the beginning. Stay strong, guys.